Okay, I put all the Pop Rocks together in one bag with both lollipops, with both thumbs up pops. And then I shake it up so they get all covered. I definitely, I'm not even a person who likes hard candy, and I just love this. But anyway, this is no longer the candy attack. So I'll start out before I talk about my trip, my arm is acting so horrible, especially like my hand. It's acting weird. It's like it hurts, but more than hurt, it hurts a lot in the morning when I wake up. It's numb and tingly all the time, 24 hours. And okay, like my first thought was, I've been using the phone too much, because that could be the repetitive motion injuries. I'm not on camera, am I? Let me get down lower. But that was weeks ago, and then when it started feeling that way, I stopped using the phone with this hand. I've only been using my right hand, because thinking, okay, it must be because I'm using it too much to hold the phone, so I completely have not been using it on purpose, or like occasionally I have to, because, I've been trying not to use this hand at all for anything. But it won't go away, and it's even gotten worse. And then even now, it's like my fingers are tingly. These two mainly. These less. And, I don't know what to do. And it hurts. And in the morning, it's like really hurts, and I can barely move it. And then I spend the whole day moving it so this doesn't get stiff. But at nighttime, I'm not doing this all day. And in the morning, it hurts and I can barely move it, and it's pounding it's so weird. It's pounding as if like my heart is pounding in my hand. It's like I don't even know what kind of doctor to go to. I was thinking maybe go to a kinesiologist, or I gotta go to a doctor. I don't have coverage right now. I don't have health insurance coverage, but it's even better now than before. I'm really enjoying it. Okay. You might hear some popping as I talk. And like when I lean on it, I try not to lean on it. I've been trying to just let it rest, and I've just been moving it so it doesn't get stiff, but the tingling and numbness, like I can't feel the tip of my finger, has not gone away since over 3 weeks ago. And at the time, I had been playing this game that I got addicted to, one of my apps on my phone. And that's when it started. So it must be some sort of connection to that. But I stopped when I started feeling the tingling. Maybe it's too late. Maybe I've ruined my hand. But, like leaning on it like this now is not helpful. So I try not to do that. But, oh gosh. Well, my trip was okay, but, it wasn't a trip for vacation, but I did happen to go by coincidence during the Mundial, the soccer finals. So I was there for the quarterfinal, the semifinal, and the final. I got all this footage of the people on the streets celebrating, and of course, it's sitting there. I've got three trips to Argentina. I went in spring, I went in summer, I went in winter. I've got 3 trips to Argentina. Tons of footage just sitting there. I never did anything with it. And at some point, I want to put together, I did upload a little bit, but I got to put together some footage, because I've got some interesting footage. The people celebrating, me and my cousin screaming when there was a goal. And you've seen a little bit, but that's nothing what I've shown compared to, plus a lot of sightseeing that I've done in these 3 trips. I went to the Holocaust. This trip I focused more on, because I had not been to the Holocaust Museum in Buenos Aires. The AMIA, which I just saw from the outside. That's the Argentine something Israelite, it's a Jewish organization. A big important one that was bombed in 1994 by apparently the Iranians. They never caught the people. They never proved 100%, but there's high suspicion it was Iranian terrorists that were in Argentina. This is delicious. They're nice and it tastes better when you mix the strawberry and the grape together. I'm not doing the candy attack anymore. So as far as my trip, there I am leaning on my arm. There's really not much to say. My mother has an apartment there, which is empty. So we want to rent it out, do something with it. My aunt used to live in it, but she passed away, and somebody, we need to pay the taxes and, just use the apartment. So we'll probably rent to tourists. I found a gentleman down there that will help me out with that. And what else? Yeah, I've been a little depressed, but that's chemical. It's a chemical thing. It's not because anything has happened to me that's so horrible, but I have chemical imbalances in my life, and I'm taking this medication for it, but I haven't really been doing it how I should. Like some days I'll forget, and I need to get back on track. I'm just a mess right now. I get into these emotional whirlwinds every few years. But, I will admit when I have a boyfriend, I'm more stable because you focus on him, which isn't necessarily the healthiest thing, but you put all the focus on the boyfriend or the guy you're dating, not really boyfriends, always, and it kind of stabilizes me, but I can't keep depending on that these days. When I was younger, it was easier to get guys to date, but now it's so hard. I mean, ones that you like. It's not hard to get a date, but it's hard to get ones that you really connect with, And I had my boyfriend for 4 years living up there, but it turns out we just love each other very much, as friends, but it's not, which is fine. I mean, that's what a lot of marriages end up as, I'm told. You're married deeply in love, and you end up becoming very companions, and not so much the passion as much, but with my friend that I haven't been living there in a while, but so, that's, I mean, we're in touch quite often. I'm going to visit him again. We both are kind of on the same, we both kind of agree that, we need companionship, and we love each other, and we trust each other. That's very important. Trust is 100% with that, which, I mean, the guy I dated back when I was in my 20s, I think I trusted him too. Like, I still would trust him if I saw him again today. I haven't seen him since then, but yeah, it's hard to trust, especially now. Oh. So that's one good thing I have with the guy that I was living with. I mean, just 100% trust, and he can have even when I was with him, he had his friends that were women, and he'd go out, hey, I'm going to go see Wendy, and I know it was a friend that he had from before he was together with me. What am I don't know. Some girlfriends say, oh, now that I'm with you, you can't see any of your, he was friends with her before. Why should I come in and, anyway, and I don't think I believe that they're just good friends. Maybe, who knows, but I really do believe they are. She's married too. And, oh, am I saying the names of these people that I shouldn't be saying? But not that I'm saying anything bad. My point is, he's someone that I trust, with whether it be, as far as not cheating, or with money, or with, everything. It's not only just the cheating factor that you have to trust your partner with. It has to be you trust them with your money. Like, hey, could you go here? Here's $2,000. Go get me whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, trust is more important than, I'd say, than the passion part. In hindsight, for a relationship, from what I've learned now with all my mistakes. So yeah, it's hard to find someone, there's plenty of, nice looking men that, well, first of all, they're not the ones that are asking me out anymore. I have been approached by men that I'm not attracted to, which it's not their fault, maybe I'm not saying they're even ugly, they're just not my type or whatever, but I'm just not into it anymore. I'm not into, I'm not well, you guys. I mean, I just got to get back on track. I've got to start temping. I've got to start temping at least. I think this holiday week is over. January 1st, that week I am going to just go ahead. I'm going to ask for a 2-week assignment from my temp agency. Say, look, I don't care if they pay $8 an hour. If it's a 2-week assignment, who cares? It gets me out of the house. It gets me to fix myself up a little bit too. So like I got to go to work. I try to put on a little bit of makeup. Now I just don't even want to put makeup on. It was my niece's 15th. She had an informal quinceañera, which is like sweet 16, but they do it at age 15 in Latino culture. And she was having her party, her 15th birthday party. All her friends were there. Some other adults were there too, parents of the friends and stuff. Yeah, I just came down in my jeans and no makeup. Everybody else was all like, they weren't fancy dressed up. Some of them had jeans on too, but they were, it was a party. I just came downstairs, and I hadn't even had my hair done yet. Like I have it done now, but I had my highlights done at least, but I didn't even have that. So like I had my hair up like you guys have seen me, just like you see me, And then like I started talking to a friend of my cousin's who I've known for many years. She's been friends with my cousin for many years. And at one point she mentioned, you don't have a stitch of makeup on. But she wasn't saying it as a compliment. She was sort of like implying, that's how I took it. Because it could have been, oh, you don't have a stitch of makeup on. You look great. No, she was saying it like, you don't have a stitch of makeup on. Like sort of, not mean, but sort of like, why are you not even like, anyway. So I just said, oh yeah, no, I didn't feel like, I told her. But anyway. So when I go to work though, when I am working in an office, I do, at least I get into a little dress, and I usually just put my hair up in a bun like I always do, but at least I put a little makeup on. I care a little bit more when I know that I'm going to be seen, in the public eye. Usually I'm the receptionist for temp jobs. They need someone to answer the phone and welcome visitors, and so easy. It pays really little too, but I'm not doing it for the money right now. I just got to get out. So that's what I haven't even looked at the chat. I'm such a narcissist. I'm just talking about myself, Well, that's what this channel is. Uh-oh. I put something on Facebook to fight with people. Uh-oh. I think I got mentioned in a comment. Oh, okay. It was for a Christmas greeting. Okay. I hate when people don't fight with me. I try so hard. All right. Let me go here and see if anyone's in the chat or I'm talking to myself. As long as I have one person, I'm fine. If it says 0, there's no one watching me, I'm ending the live. So, let's see. How do I get there though? Oh, here we go. Here. For some reason, I can't even figure out how to do it on my... Oh, 4 people! Are you the same 4 that were watching me? Do my Well, if you have any questions... Oops. Hang on. Oopsies. Let me turn down the volume. Oops, going the wrong way. Here we go. I have a... Oh, hello. I got a hello. All right, well, hi back. And then there are 3 people just watching me and not asking questions. And so I got to come up with a quick... Yeah, I really should plan to talk about something. I was thinking... This is starting to taste really good. I put the 2 thumbs together. They're not exact, because they're both the same, facing the same way. But I kind of put them together, and I had like a double lollipop. And then here's the Pop Rocks. This is really a fun candy. Hey, why don't we do that? Let's look. I'm gonna switch to screen share, and let's look up if we can find Crazy Pops in the United States. I hope you guys can still hear me. There we go. Wait a minute. Okay, now we're on screen share. How do I get out of... Here's my problem. I don't know how to get out of this screen. File view. how do I just want to get to, how did this, see, that was the problem I was having earlier. I don't know how to make this screen small so that I can get to, I clicked escape. I don't want to click exit because that will turn you guys off. I do alt, let me see, alt tab. It's not working. File. I don't want to exit. I just want to minimize this studio. How was your Christmas this year? Oh, well, I just was with my parents. I got back from Argentina yesterday morning. So we had salmon for lunch. You know, we had a little champagne. Not even the fanciest. You know, if it's just two old people and me, another old person, you know, there's no kids around. So we just kind of did a little, you know, toast to Christmas. And we're not extremely religious either. So, but it was nice, you know. And it was my birthday recently. How do I close this darn thing? I really would like to do the screen. I used to be able to. My future plans. Well, in the short-term future, I really need to start temping. I think that's going to get me out of my rut. I'm in a rut these days. Let me switch back to my live cam here, because I don't know how to fix this. I'm kind of in a rut. I'm just, you know, old people can get bitter because we like, well, no, and then I was, you know, COVID really messed me up. I was good. I was living with my boyfriend, friend, whatever, but I was working. I had a great job, and COVID just screwed me up. I threw everything away, the COVID and everything that happened in those years and all the politics, and it just screwed me up. I was doing okay, and I've been bitter ever since that first time. I had to go to I'm not ashamed, I had to go to the mental hospital during COVID. I went crazy. I was in this little apartment. I had moved out. Well, I'm losing all my pop rocks. One second. I can really understand, you know, when you go to the zoos that I don't know if there's a lot of them left, but the lion is in a cage and he'll be pacing. That's how I was. When you're enclosed, I mean, yeah, I could go outside, but, you know, it was winter and part of the time, and you just didn't want to go out because, you know, everybody's in masks, everything's closed. What could you do? You go outside and walk around and then go back home. I mean, and I was pacing all the time in that little apartment. And that's where I really could sympathize and empathize, really. Now I know what it feels like to be a caged animal. And that's why you see those animals pacing. And, you know, all the stuff on TV didn't help. All the stuff you were seeing on the internet and all. And then the politics, and I just went nuts. I had to go to the mental hospital. I went completely. I had a nervous breakdown. That was 2020. You know, it was a while back, but I've never been the same since. And I got on medications and stuff, and they help. And granted, I haven't been taking them. I have them. I'm running out, and I'm just like, I just don't care anymore. You know, so. My future plan, really, it's not a big thing. Is to get an $8 an hour job just to get out of the house, you know, a temp job. I really have to do that. And it's like even an effort for me to get me to pick up the phone and call the temp agency. So, but I'm going to do that now. I had to go to Argentina to do some things for my mother. And that actually was good for me. It kind of got me out of the garage. You know, I went, I had to talk to people. I had to organize things. I was very good about it. I got someone to administrate the apartment, a real estate agent who's going to be, you know, getting tourists in there and charging the rent and paying the costs and, you know, emailing me everything or WhatsApping me. And no, so it was a nice trip. I mean, I'll admit, Buenos Aires is very beautiful. It's a beautiful city. You got to watch the people. The people are the problem. The city itself is beautiful, sights to see, the architecture, and I did see, every time I've been going in the past few years, I try to see something new, a new sightseeing or something. So I could definitely give tours, and that was another idea of mine, was to start a little tour company and take trips to Argentina. But Buenos Aires, like I said, is a very beautiful city, but there's so many people begging on the street. I mean, more than ever. I have not seen that many people ever begging on the street and going through the garbage and all that. Sure, every city will have their people that are begging for money, but this is like unlike I've ever seen it. It's just every block. And so fine, the tourists can come, but they're going to be seeing all that. That's not very pleasant. And the nice part of town, because of course I'll assume they'll go to the nicer part of town, obviously, because that's where the people have money to give, but it was really not very great. Remote temp work. It might allow you to have time for yourself and your hobbies without... Yeah, no, that's my thing. In my case, it's healthy for me to get out of the house and go to the office. You know, remote temp work is... I'm not a very organized person. Like, I would be a great business person running it for someone else. But it seems like I'm never... When I do stuff for myself, I don't... You know, it's probably a self-esteem thing, or maybe it's a little fear of failure. Okay, there's probably some of that too. No, it's healthy for me to go to the office. My problem with quitting my job a big problem was that I was home because it was during the remote work area. I never went back to the office after COVID because it was COVID. We all had to stay home, work remotely. Then they opened the office up, but by then I was so messed up, I didn't make it back to the office. I quit. So yeah, I've done remote work before, not as a temp. I was answering calls for what was that company? Was it AT&T? Yeah, it was AT&T customer service calls, but that was my problem. I'd wake up, I'd be in my pajamas, I'd spend the whole day in my pajamas, do the work, go eat. My father would do the shopping, so I didn't even go out to do shopping, food shopping. And then I realized it's just not healthy, so that's when it's good for me to go to an office. Especially temp work, it's so low stress because you'll be gone in 2 weeks or a month. Usually the contracts are short unless you ask for a long-term temp job. But I'm going to ask her, look, I want short ones. And the problem is the short ones often pay less. But I don't care. I'll tell her, look, I'll take the $8 or whatever the minimum wage is now. I don't know what it is in Florida. Just to get out of the house. Because right now, I of course need money too. But I'm kind of getting a little bit... I'm not in debt yet, but I'm starting to even out because I had my savings, but my savings is going because I'm spending. So, eventually my savings is going to be gone. I'm getting close. And then I will be getting into debt, which I really need to start working. At least even minimum wage job will at least pay off, when I'm spending. I'm not paying rent. I'm in my parents' garage. But, I'm complaining. And imagine I'm in the greatest position for some people. Some people say you are in an awesome position. You're sure you live in a garage, but you don't pay rent. You eat your parents' food. You don't pay bills. Any money I make goes to paying for whatever I want to pay for. I mean, it's like being a teenager again. I shouldn't be complaining, but I am. I'm going to live with my boyfriend. I'm very privileged. What am I complaining about? But I guess life isn't just having a roof and food, Yeah, but someone else would be in my position and they'd say, wow, all the freedom. Now I could do something with my life. Like you said, the hobbies and no, all I do is sit here, eat the food, and sit in the garage. And I do crave getting out with a purpose, like going to an office. I am doing volunteer work with a ministry where my godson is from. But, that's it's not hard, It's sort of just helping a little bit administratively. I can still do that while I'm working. This is very delicious. The mix of the two flavors. Another aspect might be the safety of being in someone else's business. Right, it's not as pressure. Exactly. When you run your own business, it's not an 8-hour day. That's what people have told me. It's 24-hour a day, really, because it's your business. And that can be very empowering, you know. But the thing is, I'm capable. I don't know. Yeah, definitely there's a fear of failure. That's, I guess, with every business, even the people who have successful business. But it's more just me not getting my head together. You know, I have my little patterns that I sell online that do very well. I just they're online and they sell. I don't do any effort to market or, you know, I could really grow that business. And it's not a high risk, so it's not so much fear of failure there, because there's no money invested in an Etsy shop, for example, other than your merchandise that you make from scratch mainly. I don't know. Some people are just here. You know, some of us are just here. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to have a purpose in life, and that's great if you do. I'm just here, you know. I help people when I can, like if I feel sorry for someone, or like now I have my godson, it gives me a purpose. But I wonder if he kind of became my godson by accident, because I became friends with a pastor from the neighborhood that I work in, that I volunteer in, and she has a little grandson, and it kind of worked out, so I accidentally stumbled into being a godmother. But I love it, you know, and I'm happy about it, and it gave me a purpose, because I'm like, oh, I think about him sometimes, like, oh, I gotta start, like sometimes I save a little bit, you know, I end up spending quickly, but I have money saved, or now I have to work, and I think, okay, I'll put a little aside to make sure we have something for his birthday, you know, things like that. So it gives me a sort of a purpose, but he's gonna grow up, and then I'll be in the same boat again. He's 8 now, 9. He's about to be 9. So, you know, that's not much longer, and plus, teenagers are no longer googly, kissy, huggy anymore. You know, they start mouthing off. And of course, he'll probably be nicer to me because I'm not his mother or grandmother, but still, it's not the same. You know, a teenager now wants to hang out with his friends. He doesn't want to go out on the weekends to, you know, spend time with his godmother. You know, it's just different. It's like having a child on the weekends if you're divorced. You know, when they're little, it's fine. You go places and but when they're teens, you know, you know, maybe you want to take them somewhere fun and they don't feel like, or someone that you think they're fun, and they say, no, I just want to hang out with my friend Sarah today, or my whoever, you know. Or maybe, yeah, they don't like their parents at that age. They get grumpy. You can't tell. Some teens are awesome, but so I'm guessing, you know, he's going to be a typical teen, and I'm going to kind of lose that. You know, I'll still care about him, but it's not like having a little kid, you know. Like like anything makes them happy. You know, they get more demanding when they're teens. Anyway. Yeah, no, temping for sure. I should call the temp agency now and tell her, look, I'd like to work next week. It's 2:30. She's probably still there. Yeah, definitely, the part-time temp work. I think the temp work full-time, 8 hours a day is not much for temping. And I'm a very good secretary. I always brag about that, because the only thing I can brag about when I'm working. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm really liking this. It's an experience. It's like the more you eat it, the better it tastes. I have no more rocks left, though. There's a few in here. Definitely. If anybody watching is a psychiatrist or psychologist, let me know. Maybe I'll interview you. Oh, I have my friend Ryan. He lives in Ireland. We keep talking that we're going to do he's going to come on my show and talk, but keep forgetting to do it. And I want to plan, that's the thing, we want to plan it. Like, we don't want to just come on and be like I am now, just blabbing about nothing. Kind of have an idea more or less what we're going to talk about. Maybe I would like to have some trans people on the show. Trans or detrans, that whole thing is of interest to me because it's a thing. We've got to, it's not made up. Now it's starting to get like there were the real trans people that truly are trans, but now it seems like a lot of people are jumping on the boat, like, or jumping on the bandwagon. Why I say jumping on? I think a lot of these teens now are confusing themselves, and they're not really trans, but there are truly trans people. And so, he has some knowledge about those issues. So I would like to talk about that. Ryan, if you're watching now, or anyone else. And that, but I got to think of some questions, at least to start out, to get the ball rolling. Then, of course, it'll be a conversation. And then we also maybe don't want it to be 12 hours long, because a topic like that, you could go on for hours and hours. We'd want to kind of keep it within certain limits. But, no, I find it fascinating. Fascinating, a little weird, a little scary, because that's the thing. Now that's my concern. It's getting a little bit too much that some children that are confused but really aren't trans, but they obviously have some issues, are falling into the trans thing, thinking that's going to solve all their problems, and it might make things worse for them if they're not truly trans. So that's one thing I would like to do at some point. Maybe I'll call Ryan or and write him or something, see if he's around. Yes, interview people. Yeah, and we have been talking since Twitch. I met him on Twitch, I think. Or maybe he knew me from here. He was following here, but then I was on Twitch. I was doing Twitch for a while. I want to do Twitch and YouTube at the same time, but this thing that I have, this studio, only allows me now to do one. I used to be able to do two at the same time, but I can't do the two anymore. The multicasting. Let me call this temp agency right now. I'm going to text her. Oh, hi, Leona. You didn't say hi to my friends. Because it's so cold, she's staying in her little blanket. Oh, my sweetie. Oh, I'm sorry. I grabbed her wrong. Come here, baby girl. What you doing? Come here, baby girl. What's the matter, baby girl? Did you say hi to everybody? Were you sleeping this whole time? Oh, my lips are sticky. Okay, baby girl, I'll let her lie. She just feels like laying down. She's nice and toasty warm now. Oh, you're my baby girl. Yes, you are. Isn't she? Oh, she's so perfect. She's perfect for me. She's not a hoppy, playful little puppy because she's sick, neurological problems. But for mommy, she's perfect because she's soft and calm. Okay, baby girl. Oh, you biting mommy now? Oh, she gets a little rough though. Sometimes, if she's liking food that I give her and I want to just adjust it for her, she growls and snaps. She can be a mean girl sometimes. Okay. Oh, I lost the chat. Oh, here we go. Of course, I think she's awesome, but some people look at her and say, oh, put her to sleep. No. Okay, go back to sleep. You're going to go lie down? Then mommy will go take you inside and we'll go get dinner. What time is it? I'll write to her. I'll write to the temp agency. I have her number, the lady. And then I'll hang up, guys. I don't have anything interesting to talk about. Just getting myself into one pickle after the other. I'll be honest with you. There's a man that hurt me so much. It was before my last boyfriend. And I just never got over him. I went in with my boyfriend, my 4-year guy, on the heels of the other guy. But I never had closure. And it's kind of, things have been coming up that I had postponed for 4 years because I was with the other guy. But I think it may have also affected the other guy because I'd never gotten over it. And I got to get that. I just got to get that closure myself. I'm not going to get it from him, obviously, but I just can't understand why people can be so mean, you know. It's just mean, you know. I mean, I'm an older woman. I know, older as far, he was older than me. I mean, I'm older now. I know that not to expect much from men, but to the extent how cruel he was, I just, he must be mentally ill, that he needs to hurt women to make him feel good or something, but he's kind of on my mind a lot, but to the point where I've got to just, there's nothing I can do. I just have to accept reality. He doesn't love me, he never did, and just somehow move on. But they're just things that don't make sense, because I mean, it's just, I just gotta figure it out. I mean, everybody's telling me, just get over it, just get over it, just get over it. I mean, I don't know if it's easy for anyone to just get over it, but some people just can't get over things as easily as others. Yeah, sure, maybe I got a little OCD or whatever, but I just can't. Just get over it, just move on. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to have to. I have no choice, or be miserable. I only have one of two choices, but how do you get over it? Some people just can't, you know? I need a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. I got the medicine, all that doesn't help. I still feel rotten. I haven't been on it, granted, but even when I'm on it, I don't act on my feelings as much. That's all it does. It prevents me from acting on them, but the feelings of hurt are still there. It's just I'm less impulsive about what I do about the feelings, you know, like hurting myself, or, you know. Sometimes people think, oh, you're so put together, you know. A lot of us are a mess. A lot of people are a mess. I'm not going to say I'm more of a mess. There are people way worse than me, for sure. But it's not, you know. Let me write. Number one, write to the temp agency. I got to get a job next week. Get out of the house. Have a stable 9 to 5. You know, with lunch, half-hour lunch. I enjoy that. I really do. I enjoy it. It's sort of a. So what's her name? Here we go. Let's find her. I don't feel like talking. See, when I'm like this, I don't want to talk to people. Converse. I don't mind this, because it's me talking. It's all me. And you guys are writing a little bit, but it's not a conversation. But if anybody out there's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and you want to tell me what's wrong with me, I already know. It's OCD, bipolar, you know, it's in that area of, you know, it's not a definite, but I've been around long enough, and I've spoken to psychiatrists before, all my life, you know, not all my life, in my older life. And they all basically, bipolar, OCD, you know, normal stuff that's treatable, thank goodness. It's not anything too outlandish, but yeah, this getting older has been very difficult for me to accept, because I say, look at me, I'm 56. What have I done? I've done nothing with my life other than, you know, worked a little bit and whatever. You know, it's just, it's not midlife crisis, it's past midlife crisis. Listen to your parents. I mean, if your parents are more or less two normal people, or you have a normal mother who's lived, take advice from older people. I'm not saying they know everything, but a lot of times this common sense stuff comes from the elderly, because they've lived it. Like, ladies, I'm sorry. I've said this before. If you want to grow up and have kids and do that whole thing, you've got to settle for a man before you're 35. If you haven't found Mr. Perfect, but he's a good man, he's got a, you know, and I'm talking, and here I am, and I didn't do it, but just settle for the guy that's going to bring home the bacon, that loves you, maybe loves you more than you love him. You know, it's not a bad thing. I mean, treat him nicely, though, if you're going to, you know, because don't be, he loves me, and just take him for granted, because then he will leave you eventually. So, And then you can worry less about it because you got more time. So, like my last several, I wouldn't call them relationships. People that I dated more than once, that we kind of went out some time, for a little while. They all ended up leaving me. Never promised me anything, so we weren't committed. But they ended up settling down with a younger woman, 30s, and they're men my age. So, and they're the good ones that have sure, I could find a man my age with no job who's a drug addict. Sure, that's easy. I could find someone like that and he'd like me. But, the ones that are well situated, that have maybe they're retired even. But, they've done well in life, so they're comfortable, even a little house, I'm not saying rich, but, someone that's stable. They're stable, they're good, they don't have another woman, they're going to look for a nice young woman, because women appreciate a stable man like that. And I'm not going to blame a guy for going with the younger, prettier woman. Why wouldn't he? Plus, a woman who's like me with all this baggage and bitter, of course he's going to choose a younger woman over me. But it's still hard to accept. Because it's happened more than once. If it would have happened one time, I'd be like, oh, whatever, And it's not that, we old women like to say, oh, it's because she's just looking for a sugar daddy. No, she was looking for a good man, and she got him because she was younger and prettier and less bitter than me. And that's a fact. A younger woman in her 30s can easily fall in love with a man in his 50s or 60s. It's not that much of a difference as you get older. And a smart woman will fall in love with a man in his 50s if she's in her 30s. If he's, decent looking. He doesn't have to be gorgeous, but he's got a house, decent. Maybe he's divorced, but the kids are grown. It's kind of tough if the kids are still young. If he's a nice, stable man, but his kids are young, it's tough. I would say if you're a younger woman, I'll give you guys advice, even though I shouldn't because you're my competition, but if the man, has a nice, I'm not saying nice house. I'm just saying a house with a room to sleep in and a kitchen and a bathroom. That's all you need, really. But stable, he'll put up with more crap from a younger, prettier woman than he will from me, too. But if he's got young kids there, I would say try to find one without young kids, at least college age or late high school, that's fine. But young kids, it gets pretty sticky there. But sure, go for the older man with no young kids and who's stable, and then you'll be, fine. Maybe you'll get married. A lot of guys maybe want to get married to a younger woman and settle down again. They made a mistake the first time, or, the stupid thing with me is I also didn't appreciate the older men when I was young. I dated them, and it wasn't a sugar daddy thing either. Like I said, it was more for the stability. I liked how they treated me, because, of course, a younger woman gets treated nicer by the older men than he'll treat women his own age, because she's younger and prettier. Let's just be honest. I just have to keep reminding myself so I accept it. But what was my point? My point was I got to get a job. Let me write to this lady. Bipolar 2 and PTSD. Oh, do you have PTSD, VR Worlds? I don't think I have PTSD. I probably do have PTSD now after COVID and all I went through during COVID. Then it might be now, but that might be what happened to me. Okay, let's write to this lady. Get myself a job. I should be able to get a temp job at this point. I don't know, maybe I have been out of work for over a year. Alright, come on now. Concentrate. It's called a text. Go to contacts. Let me tell myself what to do here. Go to contacts, find the lady's name that you got to write to. There she is. Choose her. Now, text her. Okay, here we go. Hello. Happy holidays. I would like to start working next week. Next week, if possible. Any oh, 1 minute. I'll say anything is fine. I don't want to tell you everything I'm writing. Okay, there we go. I wrote to her. I said, hello, happy holidays. I would like to start temping next week if possible. Anything is fine. Okay, and it kind of implied that the pay isn't the main issue. I'll say 2 weeks to a month. Okay, just short term. If she has any. I don't know if she'll even, because I probably told her, I gave a little too much information about my last job and why I quit, and that might not have been in my favor, but she knows me. She knows that I won't, I probably didn't, she knows that I'll take an assignment and I will do the assignment. I will be proper. She's known me for many years. I've been using the same temp agency on and off for several years. So I'm worried she's going to blacklist me now because I told her too much. Or if she called to get a reference. I didn't leave on the best terms with my last job. I've never done that before. I've always left on good terms from every single job I've ever left. It's always been, oh, hello, here's my 2 weeks notice. But I just wasn't well. So they're not going to give me a good reference. They'll probably give me a neutral reference, which is what, by law, they're not allowed to give a bad reference. But if someone gives you a neutral reference, it's sort of understood that it's because something wasn't right, But anyway, what's done is done. Yeah, that really messed me up. I could be one of those. No, I couldn't. What am I talking about? No, I couldn't. Never mind. Guys, this is a horrible. If you're in a bad mood and you want to be with someone who's miserable, here, this is the place to be. Is anybody still here left, or have you gotten too depressed and left? All right, I texted her. Let's see if she responds. Bipolar and 6 people. Wow. Wow, the more miserable I get, the more people watching. Let's see if I can get to. I don't think I've ever gotten to 10 viewers anywhere at a time on a live. On Twitch, I think I got to about 8. I have 6. Oh, I got to do something to keep people watching. Like the newcomers, they won't know all the stuff I just said. What should I do? Make it sound interesting. I don't want to do something, crazy, but I'm reading a book. Okay, I'll talk about this book that I'm trying to read. I have trouble reading, but You know what would solve all my problems? Honestly. If Elon Musk found me, saw me on social media and fell in love with me, he's the richest man in the world. Now, I know money doesn't solve everything, and I'm not attracted to Elon Musk in particular. It's because I know he's the richest man in the world. But I would be nice to him. I wouldn't just use him for his money. Yes, I would. But he's used to it. What does he care? And I wouldn't ask him for that much. I'd ask for, a small house, like the size of this garage, but a house, not a garage, like an actual house. Maybe a little bigger. Maybe this would be the kitchen and dining room would be the garage size. And then 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. That's it. And a yard. I mean, sure, I'm asking, I keep on adding, but, I could get that on my own in Argentina, though. I still could. But I want that in the U.S. The U.S. is expensive. Anyway, I'm reading this book. It's like the Cliff Notes to the Bible through the view of one particular pastor. His name is Steve Miller. Who wrote this? Stephen F. M. Miller. It sort of like explains, because I've never read the Bible. I've read passages from the Bible, but I've never read through the whole Bible. And even what I've read, I never really understood. I mean, I understood what it said, but I was like, and this is kind of explains what each chapter of the Bible is about, but really briefly. So where am I? I've gotten as far as, it's more interesting than I thought it would be, but I'm dyslexic, so it's hard for me to read a lot. But these are short chapters. I lost my place. I had a bookmark in there, but I read as far as Jeremiah, I think. And it explains what each... Song of Songs I read. I read Isaiah, but I'm going to have to read it again because I forgot. I was falling asleep. So I'm like... Lamentations. So I'm like between Isaiah and Lamentation. No, here, Jeremiah. I read Jeremiah. And after Jeremiah comes Lamentations. So, I gotten around Jeremiah Lamentations. And it's interesting. It's kind of helping me understand Judaism, because it's Old Testament, New Testament. Judaism, how it's connected to Christianity, which, I knew that already, but I didn't realize how much. And even into Islam. So it's, cool. I mean, I'm not going to take it, and that's his perception. That's how he interpreted the Bible himself through his ministry. But, there are different views on the Bible. But that's one view that, I'm kind of learning. So that's been interesting. That's one thing I've been doing. In Argentina, I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I read more. I lost a viewer talking about the Bible. So, okay, we got to stay off the Bible. I got to get to 10 viewers. That's my goal. Maybe not today, though, because I'm getting a little tired. I might lie down. I can't. I got to work some things out. But anyway, nothing left to say. Thanks for watching. Let me check the chat one more time. Got some new people. I'm living with my parents in Florida, Monique. Yeah. Just go with the flow. We hanging out with you today. VR World. Let me see your channel. Do you have any? You don't have any content. Because it sounded like you would have content because the name of your channel. My family is from Argentina originally. My parents were born there. And, family. So usually I go either to visit family or, as of late, this last trip was because my mother has an apartment there that her cousin was living in for many years, but her cousin passed away 3 years ago. And the apartment's been empty ever since. And she's still been paying, her other cousin has been paying the you know, you got to pay the electric bill and all that stuff. Even though it's empty, it's been cheap. So, but the cousin is saying, look, I mean, she didn't mind doing us the favor, but she's like, okay, it's been 3 years. You guys, you know, gotta, I mean, we reimburse her, of course. But basically she was saying, look, you know, I don't mind helping you out, but it's kind of time you guys made a decision on this apartment. I can't keep on, you know, running it for you. And, so yeah, my mother doesn't feel like traveling. She's getting older, and she said, could you go down there and, you know, just work things out, see what you can do, either get someone to rent it or... So we finally decided it'd be best for now to rent it short term, like to tourists, and sometimes people go and spend 3 months in Argentina. But to get to that point, I had to install Wi-Fi, I had to buy beds, you know, sort of like a hotel, like an Airbnb basically, but longer term Airbnb. And so I had to find someone trusting that I could trust to, you know, take the rent and deposit it. And so, you know, so I spent 3 weeks down there doing all that, sorting out the bills. There were some bills to pay that the cousin had been paying, but then a few got, you know, when she started telling us, look, I can't keep doing this, you know, I had to pay some bills, so we got that out of the way. And while I was there, it happened to be, by coincidence, the World Cup, the soccer World Cup was playing. So, and Argentina happened to win while I was there too, so it was like all this excitement. So, but yeah, I go there often, mainly for that, and I have a little apartment down there, and I just bought a little vacant lot of land a few years ago that I could build a house on, because everything down there is so cheap for Americans. You know, in dollar bills, it's very cheap. So I could build a little house for, you know, less than I would build one here. Like, say, actually, I don't know the going rate now, but $40,000, $30,000. I'm not saying that's cheap, but compared to building a house in the U.S., you know, if I temp, I have some savings that I'm eating into that I really have better stop. That's another reason I should start working. And I could easily temp, living in my parents' home. I'm not paying rent. I could easily save up enough to build a little house, and then I could maybe rent that one out too, either to tourists or long term. Because if I don't have a high, what do you call it, retirement here. I have Social Security in America. I was born here and I've been working here. I've worked enough that I have a Social Security check eventually when I retire, but it's not going to be much. So, but it would go further in Argentina or anywhere in the third world. But Argentina is my connection because my family's from there. I have cousins there that I'm close with because I lived there for 10 years. I was married to an Argentine man. We lived there for 10 years. So yeah, I could see myself retiring there. Not because I really want to, because my home is the United States. The United States is number one. But financially, depending how I'm doing at that age, it might be better for me to move to Argentina, living on an American retirement, which a lot of elderly people do, even if they're not from the third world. I've heard some people go to Panama, people who retire in the U.S. You can move to countries that you got to be careful because people know, oh, that's a person with dollars. They may try to, you got to be careful. But, I'm familiar with Argentina. So, yeah, I could see myself moving there or taking tourists. I keep talking about that. And then, again, one of my ideas that I've thought of that many times because, take people to Argentina, take them around, tell them what to see. I translate for them and, help them. Not so much that they need, you don't need a tour guide, but it's helpful to have someone who knows the place and knows both cultures, because my concern with tourists in Argentina is a lot of people get swindled or, swindled out of money that, like, maybe you'll go somewhere and there won't be prices, and they won't scan it and they'll just tell you, oh, it's this amount. It's still maybe going to be cheap for an American, but it's just not right, Or, the safety factor. Like if you want to change dollars to have pesos, selling it on the street is cheap, or selling it out of not at the bank, or not at a currency exchange, but to actual people. Now you could do it on the street, but you don't know the person so I know people who would pay top peso for your dollars, and you'll have double the amount of money you would be able to spend than if you would change it at the currency exchange. They pay double off the record. So, things like that I could be helpful with, because your dollar would go twice as far. It's already cheap, but it would go even more. It's better. What would cost most is the plane ticket. The rest, when you're in Argentina, it's like so cheap. Selling it on the, off the mark. I usually sell dollars to my cousins, or to my accountant sells it to his friend. People that we all know, that because they save. A lot of people now, that's their problem, but they save in dollars. Like, they'll sell their pesos to you, buy your dollars, and they won't put it in the bank. They'll like hide it under the mattress or whatever, which is extremely dangerous. But that's their problem. That's not your problem. So. But people don't trust the banks there. I do. I have to. I'm not going to walk around with money, on me, like tons of dollars. So, yeah, they take their cut. Well, but if I save up in dollars in Argentina, then I could use the dollars there to buy or make. I want to build a little house down there in the south. Yeah, then I could see myself maybe go to the south of Argentina in the summers and go back north in the winters. Like people do from Canada to Florida. Mm-hmm. I speak Spanish. Yeah. You can have that as a passive income. Right. And it's not much, again, because it's third world, so the rents are cheaper. But, yeah, it's an income. If I were living there, it would definitely be very helpful to me. Because I would rent to Airbnb style and then get dollars from the people who are renting. As long as I'm healthy, I could swing it. And even if I end up getting, God forbid that I get very ill and have to go somewhere where I have to be taken care of, I'd be able to afford a decent place. If I have my, properties for rent or whatever, I wouldn't have to go to a public geriatric home. I could go to a private one, which is nicer. The public, it's like here, any public, what do you call them, nursing homes? Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, I don't have kids. I don't have, I have some nieces and nephews, but so, if I get very sick when I'm old, I'll have to go probably to a nursing home. I'll be able to pay for my nursing home with my property incomes until, my grandmother chose on her own, because my mother and her daughters, my mother and my mother's sister, said, okay, which would you prefer? We are more than happy to, because she had gotten to a point where she couldn't take care of herself anymore. They said we could have people come in and live with you at home, a nurse, to live with you, and they'd switch off, because in dollars, again, it would have been very easy. Not as easy as the nursing home, but so, and she said, my grandmother said, no, if I'm going to be home alone with a nurse, in her case, I may as well go to the private nursing home, which is a nice nursing home. Like I said, it's not the public one. And I'll have people to talk to, and I'll have friends, and I kind of feel that way, and everyone's different. In my case, if I could go to a nice nursing home when I'm old, not a yucky one, I could see myself going to a private nursing home, and you have your own little private room, and you go out and eat together, and hopefully I'll still be able to walk and get around. My grandmother was able to walk, and she just couldn't take care of herself as far as cooking and cleaning and all that. So she chose to go to she had fallen, and she was by herself, and thank goodness someone found her eventually. Where's grandma? Like within a day, someone had she fell on the street one time, and she had to be 24 hours care, just to be taken care of, make sure she doesn't hurt herself. So so she ended up going to that nursing home. Then she did get cancer and passed away, but she did so in that same nursing home. It was a really good nursing home that, sometimes at some nursing homes when you get ill, they send you off, but that was a nursing home where you're there and you stay until. So she was surrounded by familiar people that, and her family visited her, and I'm not saying it's fun, but it was more ideal than, other situations. So yeah, short answer, yeah, I could see myself living there eventually. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Argentines. Most of us are from original ancestors from Spain or Italy. So Dardati, my last name is Italian, so it's really Italian, but by way of Argentina. And then, yeah, there's a whole history there. Why it's mainly Spanish and Italian. It's not necessarily a good history, but it's a history of many European-based countries, But yeah, Argentina is very European and is known for, it's sort of the country that, not everyone, of course, but other countries in South America look at Argentina like Argentines think that they're the best country, and there is a little bit of that thing. But if you're from there, you see the beauty. But no, and things have changed, of course. That was historically, that's how it was. But things have changed now. So I won't get into the details now, but it would be another interesting conversation someday, because you have to have reckoning with the histories of your countries. Like the United States has to reckon with their past. Argentina has a past that needs to be reckoned with too. That many Argentines recognize that and openly agree, and some are still, oh, that's not true and all this, but yeah, definitely, if you can visit sometime. If I set up these tours, anyone out there, please let me know, or let me know if you're interested. I was going to do a website. See, I'm talking. I don't do it, but oh yeah, you heard that. Yeah, no, for sure. And it's true, but not everybody, but we have to humble ourselves a little bit too. But I was born in the U.S. and raised, with a different mentality, and Argentina's been catching up. They're catching up. They were a little behind in the mental, not mental. What do you call it? But no, really, I think everyone should visit at least. Be a topic next time, and yes, I would love to set up. Oh, good. Sincerely. Do you have a channel, Moni? You have a channel, but do you have content? Oh, a lot of people don't have content. Okay, yeah, now that would be cool. I'm going to do a website and just have a little form that if you're interested in what dates, maybe set up some dates that I'll be going, and whoever wants to come along, and I'll find, tickets and all. Eventually, I'd like to make money, but the first tour or first few tours probably won't be as much money makers as just see if I can actually do it, But yeah, ordinarily, I think how tour companies work, they get a discount from the hotel. Like, let's say we get a hotel. The hotel gives me one price, but they give me a discount, but then the people are they give me a commission. That's how it would work. Right. So they'll give me like a 10% commission or something. I spoke not to a hotel, but I spoke to a tango show. Because, then you take the tourist places. You go, okay, we're going to go to a tango show tonight, and then we're going to go eat this here. And every place you take the tourists give you a little cut of a commission. So that's how you make money. But the first tours probably won't be. And plus, I wouldn't want to take huge, tours of less than 30, like 30 or less. Because it's got to be manageable. And I want everybody... Yeah, I have to do. Stop talking and do. But yeah, I think the first few would be more testing it out, see how it would work, and making the connections and. But yeah, I am proud of the sites and the things to see. There's actually so much to see. It would be like telling someone, oh, you got to go see the United States, and try to get them in 2 weeks to see all 50 states. There's just not enough time. So I'm trying to cram into like 2-week tour, like all this stuff, and I realize I can't. I'm going to have to say, well, people who want to see the north of Argentina have to come on this date, and then we'll be traveling to this other part. You can't cram the whole country into 2 weeks. Because, yeah, I was trying. I said, because there's so much to see. Like the U.S., there's so much to see. You can't cram it into 2 weeks for the whole U.S. You have to pick 1 or 2 states and... But there were a lot of American tourists now. When I was there, I would hear them. I'd hear people talking, and it was, they're American. I used to be like, you're American. It was like you wouldn't hear. But now, in the past few times I've gone, I hear a lot of American and British voices. I ran out of Pop Rocks. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I have 3 Instagrams. One of them is very, very political and not insulting, but offensive. Then I have one for my little dog that I just started. I'm going to try to make her famous, and I don't have to work ever again because she'll make all my money for me. We have 16 followers there. And then I have my original Instagram, which was just me with my friends and stuff. So I could give you the name of my original Instagram, which got kind of political for a while, and then I stopped, and now it's normal again. Around the time I went a little nutty during COVID. Oh, here we go. I'll put Leona's channel. Her channel is at Penny Life 2022. And then my channel, Remote Bilingual Customer Service. Oh, yeah, that's crossed my mind. I wouldn't care. I love you and don't judge. Oh, thank you. Oh, you do remember me during COVID? I'm not sure where you saw them. Yeah, I shared them. Oh, here on. Yeah, I kind of went a little crazy during COVID. Okay, this is Leona. That's her. And then I'll give you my regular, and I won't give the political one, but there are links from my regular one if you want to see my political one. But be prepared not to like me. Maybe you won't judge me, maybe you will, but it's out there. And at one point I was like, oh, maybe I should delete it if I want to try to find it work. And then I said, no, I have to be who I am. And, if people judge me, they judge me, because I have a side of me that's very, very angry. It's very angry and very hurt. And it comes out on that political channel. So that's why and I left my job in part for some of my political views on the COVID vaccine. And not that I said I got the vaccine. I got 2. I got the one and I got the second one. That's all. I didn't get any more. They're telling us we got to get these boosters. But I didn't think it was fair that we should be forced to. I chose to get it, but I just don't think it should be forced. But that was part of the reason I left. It actually wasn't the only. There were a few things about the job that was it was such a great job. It was hard for me. I thought about it. I said, do I stick to my principles, or do I stick with this great paycheck with good benefits? And I finally decided, no, things have gotten too out of hand, and you can no longer keep silent just because you're getting a good paycheck. If you can afford to leave. I could afford to leave because I knew, okay, I could go live in my parents' garage. So I have a safety net. A lot of people couldn't quit. Maybe they really would like to stick with their principles, but they have mouths to feed. One gentleman agreed with me at my job, but he said, look, I got kids, I got a wife, I can't quit. And I said, of course not. I said, I'm not judging you, but he agreed with me. It was in secret we spoke about it. And I told him, no, if you don't have a safety net, you have to do it. But no, that they threaten that you lose your job because you're not thinking a certain way, or because you don't believe in this, or because you don't want to get a vaccine that you don't know what's in it. I said, I have to stick to my principles, and those who can't because they have to feed their kids or whatever, they can't quit their job, they're paying a mortgage. It's not an easy decision to make to stick to your principles. But in my case, I said, I'm one of the people who can afford to do it, because in my worst situation, for me, I'm not on the street. I'm in my parents' garage, that's a luxury condo for some people. So I said, I'll do it for the people who can't do it. And anyway, let's not get into it. And then, everyone can judge me or not how they want to. But anyway. Oh, okay. I already talked about that. I always stick to your principles. Yeah, if you can afford to. Like I said, I can understand how, especially if you're a man, and we're always telling men, oh, you're a deadbeat. We're always beating men down, like, for being men. Here's a man who I was speaking with who, was doing the right thing. He was with his wife, with his children. The mother didn't work because she was raising the kids. A traditional family, and that's awesome if you can. These days, usually both parents need to work, but and if he had to stick to his principles, he would have to not feed his kids anymore, or they'd have to move to a so it's but yeah, definitely if you can afford to stick to your principles, do it, because a lot of people can't, and sort of you'll be the voice for them, is how I see it. Not that I'm changing the world, but maybe a few people in the office said, oh, I agree with her, I can't do it, but they'll think about it, Anyway, the regular Instagram. I gave you the penny. Okay, the regular Instagram that was back when I was a fashion designer, which I sell patterns on. Petit Pois Fashion. And around the time I started going crazy on that channel, which I then stopped, I finally said, look, that was my regular channel. I said to myself, if I'm going to get off, because I got one of my Instagrams canceled, actually. I had another political Instagram that got canceled. They're not canceling as much as they used to, because now you can actually have opinions. But before on Instagram, if you had any little opinion that was different from, they would cancel you. So my opinion, I finally said, this is ridiculous. And I started really saying my views way out there, more than I used to. Because I used to be afraid, I can't. And that one got canceled like soon after. But so then I opened a new one, and I'm posting all the same stuff as I posted before, but people are hardened to it now because they realize that that's crazy. We can't get offended for every little thing. So sometimes some people have to go way overboard so that the ones that just want to say a little something or other will have the freedom to speak, You kind of open up some ground for them. It was just getting, maybe if you think more like the left, then you didn't feel the pressure, but you couldn't say anything. You couldn't say anything, or you'd get, not necessarily deleted, but you would get blocked. Is everything okay, my doll? Oh, she was just making a noise. She's okay. You would get suspended for 30 days for saying something that was just not in agreement, but it wasn't insulting anyone. So, I don't know, the algorithm, something was off. So that's when, and around COVID, that's when it really became noticeable. So, my Instagram is now back to normal, but if you look further down, what really sparked me off on Instagram, I've probably spoken about this before, but I don't know who's listening, was when, only 5 people, I'm losing viewers, but that's okay. I've decided I have to be who I am. If people don't like me, then... was when Felicia Rashad said, voiced some support for her friend, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, I'm not going to say what he did was right. I've said this before. I'm not going to repeat myself. It doesn't matter what you think of Bill Cosby. He's a horrible man. You could think all you want. But she has a right to voice her support for him if she wants to. She's not doing anything illegal. And then they were getting ready to cancel her. And I flipped when they started going in on Felicia Rashad and my friends on Facebook saying, oh, she can't believe she's, she should be fired from... I said to myself, if they fire her, I am going to do such a scene, because she has a right to say what she wants, whether you agree or not with what she said. And I was living in DC at the time, and I was getting ready. I said, they better not fire her from, she is still working there, thank goodness. But they were talking about she needs to be fired and all this stuff. I was so ready. I was getting my magic markers ready to do big signs. And if they would have fired her, I was going to be standing out there in front of Howard University with single woman protest. I didn't care if I was going to get arrested. I didn't care anything. Because, when you protest, you're supposed to actually, people don't know this. When you do a protest, a political protest, you're supposed to tell the police that, we're a peaceful protest, of course. We're getting ready to do a protest at such and such location, just to let them know. It's not that you're not allowed to do it, but I think you have to get a permission. And it's supposed to be peaceful, of course. But I wasn't going to get any permission. I was going to go, and if I was going to get arrested, I didn't care. Because, that would have brought attention to it. But anyway, it turns out they didn't fire her. And it even made me bad that she had to apologize. Oh, sweetie, what's the matter, honey? She just got a vaccine today, so she's not doing it. She probably hurts a little bit. Is it okay, my doll? Oh. I was mad that she even apologized, but she probably had her fingers crossed when she apologized. And I'm not saying that what she said I agree with, but she could say whatever she wants. That was the point. The freedom of speech was, we were losing it. And I love Felicia Rashad. I don't care what she likes or who she likes. Or I love Felicia Rashad and I love her sister. I've always loved them from when I was a little girl. We grew up with them. They were our. She's a little older than me, but they had the Cosby Show, and her sister was on the Fame, it was called, and she was a dancer, and very, very talented women. Okay. Oh, that's my regular Instagram. Did I put my? Yeah, that's my regular. So but then I finally, when I got my other Instagram canceled, I said I better really go easy on this. My first Instagram was my one where I, my friends and family, and I finally said I'm going to just leave that one alone because I don't want to lose my original Instagram. And yeah, do whatever I want. If I lose this other Instagram, I don't care. I just got all the memes. I'll just post them again. I'll just keep posting the same ones. They can't cancel my memes. What's the matter, baby girl? She's in a little pain because she got her leptospirosis vaccine today. You want to go outside, my baby girl? Oh, she's trying. Okay. Actually, guys, I better go. He's got a smiley face, whatever I want. I'm going to go. 7 people. Now I'm going to go and I have 7 people. No, but I am going to go. My next live is going to be planned. I'm going to plan it. I'm going to, maybe I'll talk to Ryan. Maybe my first interview will be with Ryan. And then maybe I'll do another interview with one of my other viewers, if you want to be on. Yeah, do something productive. I got to do something productive. My lady hasn't written back to me about the temp job. But, all right, I'll keep you guys posted. But I'm going to go. And let's all just accept each other. Some of us think more like the right. Some of us think more like the left. We all, we're all good people. I'm not saying, far left or far right. But we're all in the middle. Most of us are in the middle. I'm in the middle, lean right. Right. A lot of you are in the middle, lean left. But we all agree on a lot of things. There's crossover. It seems like now you're not allowed to think, like if you believe something from the right, you're not allowed to believe something from the left. And it's like you're not allowed, it's like you're forced to one side or the other. I went way right when I felt forced. So don't force each other. Just, we believe this way, you believe, we try to work out the stuff that we can. And all right, okay, bye everybody. I think things will calm down now. COVID is over. Things should be calming down, I hope, in the next year or two. All right, my baby has to go out and I have to feed her. Okay, bye. Thanks everyone for watching. Talk to you soon. I hope I made sense on this ramble. Bye.